It is true. I'm a Main Street entrepreneur, been involved in business my entire life, including the farm markets. Started a turkey farm back in 1979 from scratch, was involved in it for 32 years, sold my share of it to my partner's kids and grandkids. My wife's had a business in downtown Jasper, my hometown, for years. Been an entrepreneur, dealt with how hard the marketplace is to exist even when things are going well. Here I stand to make the point that USMCA, on behalf of Hoosier farmers, businesses, to express my strong opinion that we need to get this across the finish line. This agreement is vital to secure hard-fought market access for American agriculture at a time when agriculture could never have more challenges, from chronically low prices, increasing concentration among farmer suppliers with big corporations. This is one piece of uncertainty we need to eliminate. It is, in stressing the importance of the USMCA, despite the fact that NAFTA had faults, it was quite successful in securing markets for farmers. This is better. It provides stronger access to Canadian markets for U.S. milk, wheat, poultry, and egg products. It ensures that Hoosier wine and spirit makers are treated fairly on Canadian shelves. And it secures the Mexican market for Indiana pork, cheese, and grain. The USMCA improves on NAFTA in other areas of the economy as well. It adds modern rules for digital trade and stronger protections for American intellectual property. And we know how important that is with what we've seen dealing with the Chinese. It contains new rules of origin that ensure more manufacturing is conducted in North America and has brand new rules to bring more of that production back to the U.S. When President Trump ran for office, he ran on a few simple things. Negotiating for NAFTA improvement was one of his core promises to the American public. At the time, Congress had two requests: follow the guidelines from the Trade Promotion Authority and move quickly to minimize uncertainty. President Trump upheld his end of the bargain. He has delivered an agreement that is better than the original NAFTA in nearly every respect. And this week, Congress is ready to vote, and yet we can't. Why? Because House Democrats will not bring it to the floor. Don't believe me? Look at this letter dated July 8th from several House Democrats. They say in plain English, do not send this agreement to the Congress. Do not send this agreement to the Congress. Madam President, I ask for unanimous consent for this letter to be entered into the record.
Without objection.
This is an outrage. We are ready. Today you will hear from senators who support this deal. Here in the Senate, we have more than enough votes to pass the USMCA. There is no reason to wait. The Democrats have known the contents of this deal for over 2 years. They knew the provisions offered by the U.S. and saw the text as it developed. Once the final text was released, the Democrats were stumped. They couldn't figure out how to oppose the USMCA. First, they argued that Mexico needed to pass its labor reforms. Mexico did so in April. Then they moved the goalposts, arguing that labor and environmental provisions in the deal were not strong enough. Even though they are substantially stronger than NAFTA and the agreement that some of them even supported, they still want to move the goalposts. In fact, the USMCA is the first ever trade agreement to contain provisions requiring a minimum wage for Mexican auto workers. The Democrats still aren't happy, this time asking for enforcement. In response, the Mexican president issued assurances that Mexico would enforce the new labor law the Democrats had demanded. But Nancy Pelosi is keeping those goalposts moving. The fact of the matter is that the Democrats are blocking USMCA because they do not want to give President Trump a win. The worst of all reasons and what makes this place so objectionable to so many people. In the meantime, NAFTA remains the law of the land. While they play their political games, American workers are still competing under the old NAFTA rules. It is time for Nancy Pelosi to end these political games. We need to pass the USMCA. In closing, I'd simply remind my colleagues that this trade debate is unlike any other this chamber has ever made. The USMCA is the first ever renegotiation of a major trade agreement. We are not talking about whether we should have an agreement with our Mexican and Canadian partners, because we already do. Instead, this debate is about the future of that relationship. Do the American people want the rules in the original NAFTA, or do they want the modern protections included in the USMCA? The USMCA is a substantially better agreement than NAFTA, and the American economy, Hoosiers, need these new rules so that we can move forward into the 21st century with a stronger American economy and North American region. It's time to pass the USMCA now. I yield my time.